Felix Ojo just committed to Texas Tech. Red Raiders was actually crystal balled. There's some talk about him ending up in Lubbock over the past couple days, but made it officially unofficial today. Didn't sign the dotted line, but if he does end up signing, it'll be Texas Tech's highest signee in program history, second highest, or the highest since Micah Hudson 2 years ago. So very excited to watch Felix Ojo here. 6'6", 275, Lake Ridge in Texas. We haven't watched a whole lot of Red Raiders 2026 class, so I'm not really well versed on who exactly they have in their class so far. So imagine just a lot of Texas Tech fans watching this. Feel free to reach out if there's anybody that sticks out to you in this 26 class besides the tackle here. 5-star tackle, 6'6", has something like 33 and 5'8" inch arms. I think that's what I saw, so adequate size. Probably won't be talking about this kid at guard. Sometimes you'll see these high-profile offensive tackles just won't be long enough to actually play on the outside at the next level, but don't really think that's a concern with this kid. So 6'6", 275, that's an athletic build, and I think you see that with this kid. Sometimes you'll watch some high school offensive linemen, and they just get recruited purely off of length, purely off of size, and then you'll kind of see the other end of things will be kids just not filled out, but has some athletic upside, and that's usually when we're talking about four-star, 3-star type tackles. This kid so far, you could tell 6'6", 275 plus length. We like his length there. We're going to worry about him kicking inside, but he's also pretty athletic for his size, and I think he's at a happy medium, and we'll just see just how good he is as the film progresses here. But through 4 clips, that's what I see so far. Not an offensive lineman expert. Have some experience watching them. They just don't end up making my channel. It's a lot of times these kids are more of projects than other positions, but certainly a position I have a lot of respect for. That all being said, feel free to offer up your opinions. I've never coached offensive line, so some of the finer points, I could tell you how athletic they look, how strong they look, but can't really tell you about hand placement. I'll tell you one thing that I love seeing from these high-profile prospects. Like I said, a lot of them are just pure upside, but there's one thing that kids either have in high school football or they just never get, and it's kind of that finishing mentality. You can definitely see it show up in the run game before, and then I love when you really see this with the top end. Like you watch Jackson Cantwell, it's Miami commit from Missouri. It's kind of a similar thing where they turn these pass set reps into run blocking reps where they're just trying to put the kid in the ground. It becomes personal. So really, a reason I kept going back on that one because I thought his kick step looked really athletic. So you really definitely strong. At Texas, obviously, is going to be a higher level of competition than you watch Jackson Cantwell. Great prospect, one of the best offensive lineman prospects I've ever watched. But you could tell he's just so much better than his competition. Just not a high level of competition he's playing. So a bit higher for Ojo as far as I'm aware. I don't really recognize, I haven't seen Duncanville. I haven't seen a lot of the top end Texas talent, but I'm still learning the schools and all that. But certainly see that he's got that finishing mentality, that you really need to succeed at offensive line at the next level. I don't really talk about kids' personalities all that much on the channel because, it's kind of a weird thing to do when you don't have a personal relationship with these kids. But offensive line, you can certainly tell if they have the motor or whatever. And yeah, it's a highlight tape, so we're not going to see the reps that he takes off. But, like this. This play's over right now. He could completely let go of his guy and it wouldn't affect the play. So you love to see that. And I don't really care if they get flagged for it in high school. So I think this is again, I'm not an offensive lineman expert, but I think this is why you get a fifth star as an offensive lineman. We've seen how much stronger he is than everybody. Already like his length. See him pull now. Talking about this kid being able to pull, that looked very athletic right there. I'd be really excited to have this kid in my 2026 class, especially if I was a Texas Tech fan. Massive get, and recruitment by no means is over. It's gonna be an absolute battle until he actually signs a line in December. But it's pretty telling of the state of the program. I think that a player of this caliber commits to your program. But like I said, not done. But hopefully Texas Tech can kind of use it as momentum going forward and maybe get some other big time commits because I haven't watched a whole lot of them yet. But you guys let me know what you think about this kid again. Open to watch whoever you guys want. Thanks for watching.